doing that yet.
Yeah, that wasn't.
That was not a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the biracial or the mix that wasn't being promoted. There wasn't a value there. They needed. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you go to New York and who was the competition? Because from a competitive standpoint, did they put you up against? Were you competing with other actresses for roles?
Well, when I first got there, I got a job and all that, a real job in a restaurant.
He said, "Is that your one real job?"
And I didn't. I literally had no profession. Well, I had a little bit of professional experience, but it was all in the Midwest. So this was a new world. I didn't have an agent, and so I just started looking up jobs in the papers, the entertainment papers, and my very first show that I went in for was an off Broadway musical called 2 by 2. And I was terrified because I was thinking, I'm in New York City, everybody's awesome here, I'm coming from Muncie, I'm gonna stand out, I'm not gonna be as good. And I'll never forget standing in this long line because they had open auditions, but it was down this really long hall in a theater, and so the people auditioning were echoing off the walls. You could hear everything they said and hear everything. I was standing in that line. The closer I got to that entrance, my confidence was lifting higher and higher and higher because I was like, these people ain't got nothing on me. What? I'm in New York City?
Right.
It's not supposed to be like this. And I got the part.
Wow. And what was the name of the?
2 by 2. It was a musical. It was right up my alley because it was a musical about Noah and his family. On the boat.
You brought your Christianity right to it.
Right to it.
Yeah.
And then the very next thing I auditioned for was Mo Better Blues. Love Supreme, yeah.
And you got it.
And I got it.
Did you have to do a callback? Or you just like...
No. The only reason why I went in that, I really had no intentions of doing movies, even though so many people through the years had said you should do movies. But I wasn't a movie person. I didn't watch movies. We didn't have money. If the television was on, it was sports or news. So I was a movie illiterate. But too many people that I would meet, through my job, and I was a hostess, and people would get to know you.
This is in New York.
In New York. The regulars get to know you. They come in every week and they know who you are and they know you're an actress. And so many people were saying, you need to go in for Spike Lee's new movie. Have you heard of Spike Lee's new movie? And I said, no. And I had daydreamed about working with him because I saw School Days. And I was like, I could do that. I could have done that. And so I daydreamed about it, and after maybe the fourth or fifth person brought me a paper with the information on there, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. So I told my boss.
You would have been perfect for the School Days. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would have fit into that scene. But I was actually in that scene, so I was living it. Well, not really. I wasn't in a black college. I wish I wanted to be, but...
They came down there when I was in... Because I went to Clark in Atlanta, so they came and shot in my dorm, on my floor, in my room.
Wow.
It was just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It was so that's my little touch of our connection.
Yeah.
Spike Lee, indirectly.
Right. I was in college too at the time, and I watched that movie. I was like, I could have done that movie easily. Yeah. Anyway, I said, okay, I'll just go in for this audition. I've told this story a million times, and your listeners probably heard it, maybe, if they know anything about me. But long story short, the casting director was in an office, with a whole bunch of casting directors. I went in, said, hi, my name is Cynda Williams, and I'd like to audition for Love Supreme. And they said, well, Robbie's not here. Robbie was supposed to be there at 8 in the morning, and Robbie wasn't there. So I did what I always do. I always take a book with me to things so that if I have to wait, I can read. And I sat there, and I waited till 11 o'clock. She didn't get there till 11.
Okay. 11 a.m.
A.m.
Okay.
And all the other casting directors throughout that time came out. Are you okay? Are you need anything? Wow, okay. Robbie's still not here. I'm sorry. Finally, she came in, and she got bum rushed by all the other casting people saying, "You got to give this girl a chance."
Mm-hmm.
She's waited here since 8 this morning, not complained once. Has been pleasant. Give her a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got my first audition.
Wow.
6 auditions later, I got the part. 6.
Yeah. So what happened the first time? It was just like, okay, thank you, and
the very first time, Robbie said, "Well, we're not having auditions today. Come back tomorrow." And that was my first Cindy thing, because I told her my name was Cindy, but I told her my name was Cynda, but I wrote down Cindy, and she's like, "Which is it, Cindy or Cynda?" I said, I'm sorry, Cynda. I changed it.
Just getting you with all this.
Yeah. So I went in and I sang for her, and I auditioned for her, and she said, "Okay, I'm gonna bring you back." And then she brought me back to see Spike, and then I came back another time with Spike, and then I came back with Wesley, and then
what was
came
Spike's
back.
reaction?
Spike was very interested. I think he knew pretty quickly, this is putting words in his mouth, this is what I'm thinking just based on his reaction, that he pretty much knew right away that he wanted me for this. They had several auditions. They had already been through Chicago, New York, and LA one at a time. This is their second time through New York.
Oh, wow.
For this part. And he started calling me all the time, asking me about what I thought the character, who I thought the character was, and I'm an improvisational queen. I can come up with stuff right off the bat when it comes to story, and so I just created this whole world of who she was as I was speaking to her, and he took everything that I said and made it.
Yeah. And that's from your reading, right? Because when you're a reader, right? You know
Right.
character. Yeah, you know how to identify with certain characters. That's really impressive.
So it was cool.
So he wanted you. He's feeding off of you. That's great. What do you? And then how was Wesley? What did he think?
Well, Wesley and I, funny enough, Wesley and I started dating before I even think I had an audition with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before this?
Before the audition.
Before the audition.
We met at an open call when I was there, and he approached me, and we started talking, and we started dating. And then, I found out he's in this thing, and we actually have an audition together. Because I think that he was supposed to play Denzel's character at first, because they weren't sure they got Denzel.
Okay.
And he got bumped to the other character.
Well, he was great at that character.
He was awesome at that character, and he did
everybody played their part so well. Like, you guys are like etched in stone.
Now we are, but at the time, he was supposed to do that Bleak, and then they got Denzel, and they're like,
how he would have been Bleak. I mean, I think he would have, because he's like, I think he would have.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, I think he would have still,
he would have torn it up.
Yeah.
He would have been different.
Yeah.
But he would have been really good.
Yeah.
And
how long were you in New York City before you auditioned for this, for No Better Blues?
I got there the year I graduated from college. I moved to New York, so it was 1988, and I got it in 89, so maybe like 8 to 9 months I had been there.
Did you ever have a chance did you have to do anything in front of Denzel, or did you have to
Yeah, I auditioned in front of him.
And what did he think?
And he was very positive, very kind, and
did you think you needed all 3 yeses?
well, I wasn't getting a yes, and I was talking to Spike every day. He was making me listen to music when they were trying to choose the song, and I was really getting frustrated, because I was like, and I got to that point after I auditioned with Denzel. The very next day, I was at work, and no, it was the day I auditioned with Denzel. I left and I walked back home. I remember that. And as soon as I walked in the door, Spike's like, "Where'd you go?" Because that was a long way. I walked Maybe I didn't walk. Maybe I took the subway. Anyway, I got home, and he was like, "Where'd you go?" I said, "Well, I went home." And he said, "Come back." I'm like, "What?" Come back. I said, "Spike, quit messing with me." I mean, by now, I'm like, I don't care.
Right. Because y'all done had me like 5-6 times.
Yeah, this has been going on a month and a half.
Uh-huh.
Either I have it or I don't. He said, "Come back."
Not giving you any answers. He just wants you to come back.
So I went back, and I remember walking in the room, and Denzel's looking at me, and he just shook his head. He said, "You have big feet." I said, "I have big feet?" I said, "Really, I don't. I have a very small foot for my height. But okay." He says, "And you got the part."
So you can talk on me all day.
Right. So,
how did you feel when you got the part?
I was happy. I mean, like I said, I had been building this character, doing all this stuff for this character, listening to, studying. Spike gave me a list of movies to watch. He gave me all this music to listen to. So I had been working on the character that I wasn't guaranteed for a very long time. And I was frustrated. So when he said it, I was like, finally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Y'all already knew this was my part. It just took y'all forever to figure it out. Right.
Exactly.
So you celebrated. Did you celebrate or you just got right to work?
Yeah, I celebrated that night. That's a story I probably should never tell.
Yeah, you got to tell LSH.
Well, just know that I celebrated that night in a very unexpected way. And it was a little bit of a disappointment afterwards because a person that I thought I knew I didn't know. And it began what was going to be a very challenging time for me on this movie.
Oh.
Yeah. I dealt with some things that I shouldn't have had to deal with.
The entire time. How long did it take the movie? What was
I think 10 weeks.
So it was 10 weeks. Okay. So about 2 months, 2.5 months. Oh. So, what was the best part of working with the wonderful men, actors, and directors?
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them. We were all babies, you know.
Yeah.
We were all very young. Denzel, I had been acting longer than he had at that point.
He hadn't done anything prior to that?
No, he had.
Okay.
He had done, I think, 2 movies. He did Glory by then. And
yes,
he
that
did.
Was the first thing I saw him in. Because I didn't see him on television.
Yeah, that came later, it seems.
Did it come later after that?
I don't remember.
But no, that Glory was my first Denzel experience.
Yeah, he had done that. He had done another movie that with Robert Townsend before that. And I think he may have done the movie where he plays a mulatto guy before that. He hadn't done that many movies, but he had only started acting in college.
Yes.
So I had been acting my whole life.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And
you have been performing and entertaining.
Right. And Wesley had done a lot of Broadway. It was very... Spike had done a few movies, but we were all still young. We were still learning. But I try to be a sponge. You know, I'd never done a movie in my life and never expected to, never trained to. So I just watched everyone. Robin Harris was in it, and Giancarlo Esposito, Bill Nunn. Just such a phenomenal group of super talented people who were all just beginning their careers. And so I'm a very curious person, so I spent most of my time absorbing what they were doing, learning from them, listening to the lingo, how to get the best shot. And then I also find myself always getting close to the tech side of things, and the crew. Okay. I actually am better friends with the crew most often. Watching Ernest Dickerson work, and that's just the movie side. And the music side, I have Raymond Jones, who's a phenomenal producer, and God rest his soul. I was so sad when he left us, because I had hoped that one day I'd do another song with him, and that was our plan. all the phenomenal musicians, Brentford Marcellus and Terrence, and it was just such a great group of people. And that was the best